Hi everybody. In this video we're going to learn how to delete rows in a database, how to make updates to a database table. For example, we might want to change the address of someone or change a phone number of an entry. And then we'll learn how to alter the actual table structure. So you may want to delete a column in the database table, or maybe we want to add a column. So let's get started. And as a review, let's look how we drop a database or a database table. It's just drop database or drop table, and let's just see how we can do that. So here I'm in Postgres, and to drop an entire database, it's drop database, and then the name. And that's how we delete an entire database, which again can contain one or more tables. Let me just put that database back in because we're going to be needing it. And let's look at what tables we have. So to drop a table, it's just drop table. And now if we look what we have, there's no entries whatsoever in that database. So let me back up. So go into a different database. Let me drop that database, drop the tomato database. And let me load that one back in. All right. So on to the new material. So let's say we want to delete an entry. It's very simple. So we'll have this delete statement, delete from some table name, and then a standard where clause, so where some condition holds. So if we want to remove the entry for the movie Sticks in our database, we would do the following. So it's delete from actors where movie equals, I think that's the spelling, and we deleted that entry. So that was very simple. Suppose Naomi Scott was not in The Martian, so we want to delete that entry. Actually, she was in The Martian, but they cut all her scenes out, so she actually doesn't appear in The Martian. So let's do that. So we want to delete Naomi Scott from The Martian. And here's where we get a sort of a complex query. First name equals this would remove all the entries for Naomi Scott. So we want to delete from the actors an entry where the first name is Naomi, the last name is Scott, and the movie name is The Martian. And it deleted that. So deletes are fairly simple. We just have to be very precise. So in this case, I didn't want to delete I just didn't want to say first name equals Naomi and last name Scott. That would remove all entries for Naomi Scott. So we needed to really have a more complex where clause. So just be as specific as you possibly can when writing queries or delete statements. Update is equally simple. So we say update whatever table we want to update, and we want to set some column to be some new value. So it's just set, I don't know, address equals the new address where some condition holds. So let's see how that works. So let's say we want to update Albuquerque's population. So it was listed as 448,607, but it's 558,545. And let's see how we can do that. So for that, we need to change into our world database. And so we want to say update and what table we want, in this case city, set population equals, and then what we want to set it to, I think it was 558,545, and then a standard where clause, and then we can just say, in this case, Albuquerque's unique, I believe. And let's just take a look at that. And there you see we've updated the population for Albuquerque. Suppose we want to update the population for Springfield, Illinois to 114,868. Let's see how we can do that. We want to do just a very similar thing. So we want to say update city set population equals 114,868. So we want to update the city table. We want to set the population to be 114,868, where name equals Springfield. And here you see it actually updated 3, so that's kind of curious. So let's do our select statement. I'm just going to up arrow to get a select statement. And instead of Albuquerque, I'm going to look at Springfield. And let me put in district. Oh, and there you see our error. There were many Springfields. We just wanted to update Illinois, and we ended up updating all of them. So we've kind of corrupted our data, and hopefully we kept a backup. So again, this just emphasizes that we want to be as specific as possible. So I'm going to change back into tomatoes. I'm going to reload my entire world database, which was unfortunately very large. Whoop. And now I want to update that Springfield, Illinois to 114,868. So I want to do update, and then what table? City, set, population equals. Okay, and here was that where clause where we goofed before, and so name equals Springfield. And that looks a lot better. So again, this just emphasizes that in general, you need to be as precise as possible. You may think you know the data and have knowledge of it, but you may not. So for example, let's say you were searching for movies that featured Angelina Jolie. You might think, well, I can just shorten it to Jolie because she's the only one with that last name. And you could be wrong. You could be surprisingly wrong. So again, just be as specific as possible. And I guess the second part of that is do some sanity check just to make sure that, what you're getting back is some good results. Okay, so let's stick here and suppose Springfield this year increased their population by 10,000. So I don't know the exact number. I just know that it increased the population by 10,000. So we can do something like this. We can say update city, set population equals whatever the old value of population is plus 10,000. And let's just look at that. And there you see Springfield, Illinois at 124,000, and that makes sense because here we had 114,000, and then we just added 10,000. So that's kind of all I need to say, I think, about delete and update. Again, just be pretty careful in how you apply these, and that holds true for anything, including select statements. So for both these, so for delete and update, we've been just working on modifying the data in a table. With alter, we're actually changing the structure of a table. They're working on very different things. One is the actual structure of the table, which in this case is alter, and update and delete are just worrying about the actual data in the table. So we'll look at all these possibilities. There are many others that you can do. You can just check the Postgres documentation for those. These, I think, are the most common ones. So I'll show you how we can drop a column, how to add a column. Those are the common ones. How to add a primary key, rename a column if we don't like the name of a column, and how we can alter a column by saying that this column should be not null, so there shouldn't be any nulls in the data. And we can actually change the data type, which seems like a rare thing we might want to do. All right, and for that, I'm going to read in a new data set. So let me just quit SQL and show you that file. So I'm creating this database demo. So I just created a simple table called actors with first name, last name, when they were born, and the age. And I just inserted a very few entries. So let's go into Postgres and load this database. All right, and let me just show you everything in that database. And here you see I have when they were born, and I also have the age that they are. And let's say I realize my error because I'll have to constantly keep updating this age, and we can just compute it from born. So I just want to get rid of this column age. So how that works is all these commands start with alter table and the table name, in this case actors. And this command that we want to do is drop column, and then the column we want to drop was his age. And now let's do our select statement. And you see we got rid of that age. So it's a very simple command, alter table, the name of the table, drop column, the name of the column. Let's say I want to add a column called hometown that's of type text. So that syntax is very similar, alter table actors. And then I can say hometown, type text. Let's just describe actors. So now I've added that hometown field. If we just look at the entries, so let me go back to my select statement here, you'll see that hometown is added, but everything is null. So we could try to do something like alter table actors and column. Let me just call it. Okay, so let's say I want to add this column, I don't know, eye color. And it's of type text. And let's say I don't want it to be ever null. It's so important to me, I don't want it null. So here's a problem because when you add a column, all the values are initially null, but we tried to say none of the entries can be null. So this creates that error that we just see there. So you think there's some restrictions to how we can add columns. We can't initially add them as not null. One alternative is just to have a default. So we can alter table actors, add column eye color, which is of type text, and we can say default is brown. Or let's say blue. I don't know what the default color should be. Let's say brown. That works because now if I do my select statement, right, so I can put null there because, not null there, because I have this default value brown. Okay, let's say I want to add, and I want to make this first normal form. So I want to add a primary key, a synthetic primary key, just an ID number. So by now we should kind of know how to do this. We can do alter table actors, add column ID of type serial. I could put primary key here, but I'm just going to show you another way. After we have alter table actors, we can have a number of these in a row, and I can just say add primary key. All right, so let's just take a look at the structure now. And there you see I have ID, and we see that it's the primary key. Sweet. Suppose now I'm regretting my choice of variable name ID, and I really want to call it actor ID. So for that, we can rename a column. And I want to call it actor underscore ID. And you can see now that the column has been renamed actor ID, and the primary key is still actor ID. Okay, suppose I want to say the first name and last name can't be null. So when you enter an entry, there has to be a first and a last name. That seems to make sense. So there's that command, set not null. I'm going to put a comma there because I want to do another one, alter column. All right, and now let's take a look at what the results here. And you can see now I have a bunch of not nulls with the first name can't be null and the second one not null. So the syntax is up here where we say alter table actors, and then to alter the column, we say alter column first name set not null, alter column last name set not null. To get rid of a null constraint, we just say drop not null. So let's say I made a mistake and I really want to allow people to have a blank first name. So how to do that would be alter table actors, alter column first, whoops. And now if I look at that structure, you can see that null constraint has been removed. And finally, I can change the data type. And this is a little bit contrived, but let's say I want to change that first name to varchar 20. So again, usually if it's type text, we're just going to keep it text. But let's say for some bizarre reason, I want that first name to be varchar 20. So alter table actors, alter column first name, set data type varchar 20. And now if we look at the table, we'll see that that one has been changed to varying character 20. Let's say I want to do a more interesting and something I probably would want to do, that right now this born is of type text and it really should be of type date. And let's try to do that once. So we have alter able actors, alter column born, and I want of type date. And here it's saying it can't cast automatically to type date, and it just gives you this helpful hint of how to do it. So you can just say using born date, and let's just do that. So I'm going to just up arrow to get my results back, and I'm just going to add that. And that'll do that conversion. So if I look here at actors, you can see now born is of type date. And if I get all that material that's in there, select splat from actors, you see all the things I've done. So the born is of type date, you really can't see that. You can't see that these are null, but you see that we've added hometown, we got rid of the age category, we've added this eye color with the default of brown, that's a not null, and we added this serial actor ID. And you can see when I created the serial, it's not blank like the hometown, but it actually added values for that. So I just covered everything that's on this slide. It looks a little bit confusing, but if you just practice a bit, it'll become more natural. And as I mentioned, there's many other things you can do to change the structure of a table. The cool thing is that you don't often have to change the structure of a table. And in that case, you don't have to be as fluent, because you can since it's such a rare event, you can just sort of look these things up just so you have some knowledge of how to do it. The update and delete are more frequently used commands. So that's it. It was a very short, I think this was a fairly short video, and I hope it was helpful. See you next time.